So I've got a client that sent us in a 7424 1-000-01 7424-1-000-01 and did something, lost the combination, and basically got himself into a corner and couldn't get out, and ordered a new combination chamber. And I said, well, ship it back to me. I'll see if I can recover it. Now, there are installation instructions below this video, but they clearly state cover removal is not required. Now, I know that in the past when I've done this, I've definitely removed the cover. Cover removal is no longer required and should never be removed for lost code retrieval. I know that I've removed the cover. I got it to work correctly. It was just resetting the locking cams such that the gates were installed or timed in the code's opposite orientation because of how the gear or drive in here rotates them every time a button is pushed. It was rotating it in reverse, but I got it to work. So I've not done this in many years, so we're going to go over on the camera exactly what they're wanting us to do. So let's just do that. So, and you can follow along in the instructions down below, but it says hold the chamber in one hand by the screw tab B on each end with the key stems facing you and the control shaft D at the bottom. So this is the control shaft. This is the part B. This is the screw tab. Key stems, these little tabs facing me. So I'm holding it with B. I've got D and I've got C. That's step one. Step two, using pliers or equivalent, rotate the control shaft D counterclockwise and release to clear the chamber. Okay, so it's cleared. I don't need pliers. There's this piece of metal here. This ought to be for an exit device trim, so I can just rotate that, and it's clear. So when I turn it clockwise, it clutches or it fails. Actually, huh. What's interesting is the cam is always rotating. So this would tell me that it's always operating. Huh. Well, rotate the control shaft counterclockwise and release to clear. See figure 2, right? Look at the 5 code gears E. E is right in these windows right here, and that's literally what they're called. Windows. Look at the 5 code gears E found inside the oblong windows. If any code gear pockets F are already at the shear line open position, ignore them. They are not used in the combination. So, yeah, that's the problem. All of these are at shear line. So the gate, the proper term is the gate. They're calling it pockets. The pocket is that notch right at the tip of my finger. When I rotate D, the control shaft, I'm falling into the pockets. So what it tells me is that this is an open condition, like I had expected earlier. That's always going to operate the trim every time you rotate it, or always going to operate the lock. says, note, shear line, open position, references the L-shaped feet already aligned with the mating gear pocket. Yeah, because what's in here is kind of L-shaped, and it does sit into the pocket. Find the code gear pockets F that is farthest away from the shear line open position to press the key stems and release. Okay, so we've got a mystery here in the sense that it's in the open position, so I'm going to pause and do some study, and we'll come back to this. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. So I think actually what it says is they want you to find the code gear pockets F that is furthest away from the shear line. All of ours are in alignment. But to go on, it says, and this is step 4, if any code gear pockets are equal distance from the shear line, then they must be depressed together to reset the combination. Sure, because the stock code is 2 and 4 together, and then 3, and they would be equally far away from the shear line. Then, step 5, find the code gear pockets that is next furthest away from the shear line, open position. Depress that key stem or stems and release. Okay. So repeat step 5 until all the code gear pockets are at the shear line open position. So at step 6 it says repeat step 5 until all the code gear pockets are at the shear line open position. Yeah. What happens is if you have any of the gear pockets in the open position, they're not a code that's used in the combination. You're looking for the gate or the window or the open position that's furthest away from being in the open position, and you hit that one first. You then look for the next closest. The point being is every time you hit a key stem, it rotates all of them. So you have to start with the one furthest away because it will get rotated one position. When if the first one is out 2 positions and the second one is out, like 2 and 4 are out in 2 positions, and then 3 is out 1 position. When you hit 2 and 4, it'll move it 1 position. So now they're a position away. Button 3 is still 1 position away, but now 2, 4, and 3 are just 1 position away. So when you hit 3, it rotates all 3 of them to the open position. I think that's how this works. So in terms of retrieving this combination, we're already halfway there just on what the client shipped me because these are all in the open position. So step 6 is repeat step 5 until all the code gear pockets F are at the shear line or open position. If all the code gear pockets F are not lined up at the shear line, start over at step 2. Depress the lockout slide G, that's up here, at the top of the chamber and release. Looks like one end of a spark plug. Yeah, it does. It's right here. So it says to depress that. This is part of the code recovery. I'm depressing that. And it forced everything to shift. Using pliers or equivalent, rotate the control shaft counterclockwise to clear the chamber and release. The lockout slide G should pop out. Button underneath will stay depressed. Okay, so this should pop out, but that button. So rotate the control shaft counterclockwise to clear the chamber and release. So let's do that. Counterclockwise. All right, I've rotated it, and you'll note that that did pop up, so that's good. That did pop up. Depress the key stems that you want in the combination, releasing releasing each after it is depressed. So I want to put this back to factory code, which is 2, 4, and 3. So I'm going to depress 2 and 4, and then 3. Once all of the digits in the new combination have been depressed, with the pliers or equivalent, rotate the control shaft D now clockwise. Okie doke. Clockwise. The code change button, H, under the lockout slide should pop out, and it did. I wasn't watching it, but you can see that it popped out. The new combination is now set. Look at the code gear pockets F. The numbers in the new combination should not be at the shear line open position. Well, ain't that the truth? 2 and 4, 2 and 4 are no longer at open like 1 and 5 are, nor is 3. So they're no longer at open. Now, if this works, I should be able to rotate this clockwise, and it doesn't rotate. It won't turn. If I hit 2 and 4 and then 3, yep, it works. It fired. Now I can't rotate it. So we've recovered this combination. What the client did to put it in this position, I don't know. I know that in my 30 plus years of hardware distribution and troubleshooting and whatnot, I know that I've done this in the past. It always was unlocked, always operable, which was not the intent. And I know that I recovered the combination, but I wanted to record doing this one just using the installation instructions for this client so that should they have trouble in the future, they'll be able to recover this. And if not, that gentleman is welcome to ship it back here, and hopefully I'll remember more of it next time we do it. So 2, 4, and 3 is the stock combination, and this absolutely works. Awesome. Thank you very much. That's how you recover the combination, or partial recovery, on a Kaba 74241-000-01. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.